It's a big day for the Zebras of Botswana. Only a second ever appearance at the African Cup of Nations up against the mighty Senegal here this afternoon. It's been a wet day in Tangier, here in the north of Morocco. Cold conditions, good football weather though for both of these teams. 119 places separating these two sides in the FIFA rankings. Senegal 19th in the latest rankings that FIFA issued this week. Botswana down in 138th place. They are number 39 on the continent out of 52. Senegal, second highest ranked team in Africa. So in theory, a little bit of a mismatch. Daniel Amakache is alongside me as our expert analyst. This is a very sparkly looking Senegalese side, of course, packed with players from the top leagues in Europe. Sadio Mane, a serial winner, of course, at both club and national team level, scoring the winning goal in 2012 from the penalty spot. Nicholas Jackson from Bayern Munich, Iliman Ndiaye from your old club, Daniel, Everton. What a great season he's had, and Ismail Assar as well, doing well in the Premier League. This could be a side that could go all the way. Refereeing team today is from West Africa, led by Abdelaziz Bou from Mauritania. He's a 33-year-old. Linesman Mr. Samake from Mali, Ohonto from Togo, and the fourth official, Mr. Boubou Traoré from Mali. The two skippers, they're both centre-backs as well, of course, Kalidou Koulibaly and Tatsione Ditlokwe for Botswana. The VAR team led by Daniel Lanye from Ghana. Let's see how busy they will be for today's encounter. Now, the Zebra side, pretty much inexperienced at this level. They've got a few foreign-based players. Ditlokwe, the captain, plays in the Libyan league. We also have Motuswa and Sekanyeng, who compete here in North Africa. Oreboni as well in the Moroccan league. But for the rest, all home-based players. It's a big experience for them today on this international stage. Senegal will be in the white, Botswana in their change strip, the black colours, and the countdown begins. So underway here in Tangier. This is the biggest stadium, by the way, at this tournament, some 75,000 seats. It'll be used at the World Cup in 2030. Magnificent arena for these two sides, and well, the old veritable David versus Goliath this afternoon. Senegal looking for a strong start in Group D. We saw the Congolese winning earlier on. Early touch for Botswana's goalkeeper Poko. Not that convincing either, but Cooper to take the ball back. Poko, the goalkeeper, 31 earlier this month, missed the last 3 internationals, but back in the place of Josipule for today's encounter. This is Koulibaly. Keeps that in play. He'll give his goalkeeper a little bit of a touch as well in these early stages. Eduardo Mende, of course, with wonderful experience, a former winner of the World Goalkeeper of the Year award in his time with Chelsea. Papa Boubatiao was in the team that reached the final in 2002, Senegal's first appearance in the deciding match. They lost that on penalties to Cameroon. He was also at the World Cup that same year in Asia. Senegal reaching the quarterfinals, becoming only the second African side to do so after Cameroon. Floated in from the Zebras, looking for a little touch at the near post. Cooper will get there. Gana Gueye, he has the first attack for Senegal, and away they go. In on goal. Great save, Porco. Got his body in the right place. Iliman Ndiaye delivers. Oh, what an opportunity that was. Blasted over when it seemed easier to score. Good initial save from Porco. It was Cooper who misjudged that header. Onside here as the ball came through. Bearing down on goal, Jackson saved. And the follow-up, Iliman Ndiaye, set this up very nicely for Papa Gueye. And the man from Villarreal sticks that over the top. But that'll be a little bit of a confidence builder for Porco. Now another opportunity for Senegal. Porco makes an excellent stop. Floated in by Jacobs this time. Porco will let that go. Ramoleboli, the South African-born coach of Botswana, a full year that he's been in charge, helped them to qualify for this tournament after the Frenchman Didier Da Rosa had left midway through the qualifying campaign. First one, indeed. Now, a little touch in from Cooper. They're looking for an opportunity up front. A first one, Kiabato. nice and strong in possession here, Senegal. Papagay. It's Jacobs out on the left-hand side. Queuing up for an opportunity. Once again, Poco rather grateful to see that ball in his hands. Papagay finds Iliman Ndiaye. What a great season he's had with Everton so far in the Premier League. Gay again. Mane with a little touch. Intended for Ndiaye. The foul goes against Jacobs. And Botswana will get some relief over on that far right-hand side. Bit of space and the opportunity to turn for Ismail Yassar. Gets the return ball. Playing it very quickly now. Ndiaye. Square ball in search of Mane. And just a little touch in time from skipper Di Trokwe. Under siege, really, Botswana. Set-piece opportunity for Senegal in these early stages. Little in-swinger, and Poco might well have caught that. He likes to punch instead, and clearance away. Jacobs is under a little bit of pressure now. Mendy will come out. There's Ndiaye now. Ghana Gay. Good. Tisma steals the ball away. Botswana now switching over onto this left-hand side. Siakanyeng. Sliding challenge. Referee says that's okay. Play continues. Ismail Yassar, the little turn from Jackson. Looking for Mane out wide. He's unmarked. Now cuts inside. Well, the Senegalese fans think there was something on there, but play on, says the referee. Effort in anger comes from Botswana. Kiabato putting it wide, a goal. back to the original challenge. Moreboli made his name, of course, with Jwaneng Galaxy and success in the African Champions League. Mane. This is Ghana Gay. Ball inside, and the last touch of Cooper will mean a corner kick. So the pressure continues here early on from the Senegalese. There it is, floated. And again at the near post, Botswana with a cover, then the attempt from Mane. A little bit of pinball in the penalty area before it lands up at Poko. Back to Venapi. The whistle has sounded, so a little nervous there, does Ramoboli, but here comes Senegal again. Ilimanindai! Oh, that's an excellent stop. Turned round the corner by Poko. It looked for all money to have beaten him on his right-hand side, and the goalkeeper just turns it around, and well, he's putting up a man-of-the-match performance in these opening 15 minutes. It's going to go harmlessly away for a goal kick, a chance for Botswana to get themselves onto the front foot. Second time that these two teams are meeting. They competed against each other in the Cup of Nations qualifiers for the 2015 tournament. 2-0 win in Gaborone with Sadio Mane amongst the scorers. It's the first time the two teams have gone up against each other, and then a month later, a 3-0 win for Senegal on home soil. So in other words, Botswana yet to score against Senegal, and it will be something of a long ask for them here this afternoon as well, if they are to make a breakthrough. And we've seen a couple of shock early scores in the Cup of Nations. Zimbabwe, of course, yesterday. Good turn, Jackson. Jai. Papagay, not scared to shoot from range. And one already. Koulibaly, the lone man at the back for the Lions of Teranga. Busy Cup of Nations day, of course, with Group D opening earlier on. Democratic Republic of Congo, winners in Rabat against Benin, so they've got 3 points to their name. Senegal, the half favourites to join them at the top of the table. And of course, the Congolese and the Senegalese are up against each other here on Saturday in the second match for both in this group. That's really the one to look out for in terms of who's going to finish top of the table. There goes Njai, still battling away. Cooper gets the clearance, looking for Siakanyang here on this left-hand side. Free kick in favor of Botswana. With the foul. We have a stoppage in play for treatment for goalkeeper Poko. This was really an excellent stop.
One of his tweets, he said, "I would never trade winning Afcon." One of his tweets, he said, "I would never trade winning Afcon for the World Cup." Afcon is the most beautiful competition in the world.
Well, it's a big tournament. This, Daniel, always has been. You will know that. A couple of winners' medals in your closet.
So
certainly much excitement around the continent. Will build over the next couple of weeks. We're going through the business end first,
yeah,
and then the excitement with the knockout phase as we turn the year. Of course, the last of the group matches on December the 31st, next Tuesday.
And our star players are not disappointing. Brahim Diaz scoring, you know, Salah giving Egypt the 3 points yesterday. You know, Forrest, South African player, coming in, you know, scoring a goal and giving South Africa 3 points. So they're turning up.
It's really pouring down now. Jai, another save for Congo. Hardly been able to get themselves out of their penalty area, Botswana, in this game. This might be the first opportunity for Botswana. Kiabato.
In a weather, in a weather like this, you know, Mark, anything is possible. You know, one good ball through, defender slip, striker goes in, bang behind the net, and then, you know, it's the end of it.
Here comes Senegal again. Rain beginning to pick up a little bit, make conditions even more difficult for these sides. Very slippery underfoot. It's a little bit heavy as well, the pitch before the game started because of the rains we've had over the last 48 hours or so. Cold as well here in the north of the continent.
Use this as a microphone.
Now, Ganagay looking for Mane, a little bit too strong. Back again for
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Senegal. Ivan Ndai. Siakanyang back. It's Ganagay with a probing ball now. Mane has a look up. He's going to elect to go wide. Njai, cross into the middle. Oh, another good chance for Senegal. Njai. Well, plenty of possession, plenty of opportunity early on here for Senegal, and Botswana now midway point of this first half. Daniel will be delighted with the fact that it's still a clean sheet. Down now. Forecast for the next few days is for pretty much of the same weather. Jacobs, Poko, that's a good collection from the goalkeeper. This 31-year-old from Jwaneng Galaxy making a bit of a name for himself here on the international stage. Some play go here, Poko. This is Johnson. Diabato, and decision in favor of Botswana. Botswana, of course, in their second Cup of Nations, 3 games in the 2012 tournament, co-hosted by Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. The 3 Botswana matches all played in Francistown in Gabon. All of them, including a 6-1 drubbing at the hands of Guinea.
Definitely there should be a player, you know, getting onto that. That's a beautiful crossing. That when you play in a team like Senegal, it will be very difficult for you to get such opportunities.
Now Ghana Gay. Jacobs steaming down this right-hand side. Early ball in as well. Goes over the head of Ismail Yassar. Kanyang and Njai battling. Njai will get the little chip into the back post. And now surely Mane, another good save from Poko.
He is definitely put it on a man of the match performance in the first 25 minutes, isn't it?
Well, it's the goalkeeper standing between Senegal and the early lead here. Well, this was a chance again for Senegal, and Poko with an unorthodox but yet effective stop for Botswana.
The most important thing is the ball not crossing the white line, and no matter how you do it, just stop the ball from going into the net, and he's been doing that so far.
Good turnout of Senegalese support here.
They never disappoint, Mark. Well, they never disappoint the support to Senegal. Whenever Senegal are playing, they're always out there to support their team.
Right, delay means we can get matters back underway here at the Grand Stade Tangier. We've had a few technical problems as well, for which we apologise. Hopefully you can hear us a little bit better now. Ghana Gay. Pound for pound, the teams that these Senegalese players are from, superb in terms of their profile, and so much stronger on paper than Botswana, but give the Southern African nation some credit here. They are making a decent fist of it, and the longer it goes on, of course, the greater their confidence. That's going to be a free kick. Koulibaly brought down by Kiabato.
They should be wary of the free kicks, you know, set pieces. Like I said earlier, with a team like Senegal, tall, strong players who can go up there, you know, and score goals.
Let's see what Senegal can offer from this free kick opportunity. Plenty of discussion. Poko trying to organise the wall, and Ismail Assar dropped back for a couple of instructions there. Jacobs with the left foot. It's taken by Gay and falls here. Once again from close range, wild and woolly, and still goalless as Ismail Assar put that over the top.
That's ambitious, you know. He just tries to, you know, whack the ball. Unfortunately, he didn't get the right contact on the ball. You know, the game is still going on, but you can definitely see the...
Now, Velapi. Clearance doesn't go very far. That's a good challenge, though, from Cooper in the midfield, beginning to make a bit more of a nuisance of himself. This might be an opportunity for Botswana. Cooper. Motitswa really had a chance there, Daniel, and played it off to the teammate when perhaps the better option was to go for goal.
You know, when it happened, I did say, why didn't he go for it? Why didn't he go for it? You know, for a striker, for a midfielder, you want to get the ball right in front of the goal. And then when you get it, take your chance. If you don't buy a ticket, you never win a lottery. So shoot, and then you might end up going behind the net.
Now, Koulibaly. It's a fifth Cup of Nations for Senegal's skipper, French-born, but committed early to play for Senegal rather than France. He was on the radar for Le Bleu at one stage. And Ndiaye, using his strength, gets past the challenge. Now the square ball, that's over the head of Mane. Botswana, well, given straight away to Gay. Papa Gay. Jacobs on that left-hand side. Mane, the link man. Senegal with plenty of possession. Here's the shot from Mane, the punch away from Poko. And the number of saves continues to mount for Botswana's goalkeeper.
They're knocking, Senegal are knocking on the door, and they keep coming.
Ball out wide for Diatta, player from Monaco. Ghana Gay, back to Diatta as well. He's overcome injury problems to get himself fit for this tournament. Made his name initially with Bruges in Belgium, did Crepin Diatta. Now Gay, cross is fairly comfortably dealt with. Mane. Ghana Gay again. So much possession in these early stages. A real rear guard action from Botswana. I'm sure they would have wanted to press them a little bit higher and keep the ball away from the edge of the penalty area, but the difference in quality, all that evident in this opening 30 minutes.
It's the quality that speaks, you know, man, because they keep pushing them back, and they keep going deeper and deeper.
A little bit of frustration for Njai.
He didn't touch him, like the referee saw on the wide. That's a shot from Mane. What a strong punch
Well, Senegal complaining we might well have played advantage there, the referee. And underway we go.
Just what you just said, man. You know, when the ball is on the floor, you let it go. You know, if the whistle goes, the player kind of want to stay back on the top.
Even though he's going to give the yellow card here to Motiswa, he might well have done that at the end of the action rather than blow, but a little premature from the Mauritanian referee. Senegal, of course, headed to the World Cup later this year. France, Norway in their group. They've got 2 matches in New York against those 2 rather powerful European sides, and then they will wait to find out the identity of their third opponent. That'll be determined in March when they have the intercontinental playoffs. One of Bolivia, Suriname or Iraq for their last game in the group phase. Now, breakaway for Botswana. Jakanyang, perhaps a little early. Koulibaly gets the interception, and now Senegal are on the march. That comes off Johnson, Njai is in there. And Poko will touch this over for a corner. It came from his own man. The referee says offside, though, against Senegal, so chance for some relief for the Zebras. A little perplexed Njai by that decision. I think that too for the supporters. There.
Well, you can see
good call.
It's a well offside. That's a very good call from the referee.
Single loss for Senegal in their last 28 internationals. That came against Brazil at the Emirates Stadium in London in November. Eliminated, of course, at the last Cup of Nations on post-match penalties by Côte d'Ivoire, the hosts and eventual winners. But certainly after the first round in Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal were amongst the big favourites to go on and win it, and I think bitterly disappointed in the end that they went out as early as they did.
Well, I think, Mike, they're arrogant that they, caused it because, they were playing and they felt untouchable. And, you can see when they were playing the Ivorians, they already thought they already won. And it wasn't a shock because they have already had their best start of the tournament against them.
A little too wayward there as Senegal look for Sadio Mane, but throw in it'll be to Botswana. So edging ever closer now to half-time in this Group D encounter. First one at the tournament for both of these sides. And remarkably, still a clean sheet for the Zebras of Botswana. 97 places is the difference between these two teams in the FIFA rankings, and to be fair, it has showed at times in this match.
It showed, on possession, but on goals, still nil-nil. Coach Morello will be the high-tier manager, on the bench.
Now, this is an error. What are Botswana going to do with it? Orebone, we've not seen enough of him based here in Morocco. They have 4 foreign-based players in their team, all of them playing here in North Africa. The coach did say yesterday at the pre-match press conference that he felt they brought quite a lot to the team in terms of experience. For the rest, players all based at clubs in the Botswana Premier League. Good cooperation as well between the league and the national team. You remember the November window for friendlies for teams to prepare. Senegal played against Brazil and Kenya. Botswana decided let the league continue, and then you stop the league a little bit earlier. We've got more time to prepare. So these players have been together basically since the beginning of the month.
Something that you cannot say about Safa or the Kenyan
or any of the
African countries.
Yeah, they had to wait for their players to eventually arrive. Now Jacobs pulls it back. They've got the goal. Finally, the deadlock is broken. Nicholas Jackson with a superb finish.
Yeah, what a finish. I did tell you, he's always there. He has the eyes and he can smell goals. He will get those chances, he will miss it, but at the right time, he will score it. But what a goal, what a goal.
Ishmael Jacobs pulling it back superbly, and Nicholas Jackson needed no invitation from that close in. No chance for the goalkeeper as well, who's put up a sterling showing, but could do very little about that. And excellent work from the German-born Jacobs, and the German-based Jackson is the man who finishes it.
It's a beautiful weight pass from Sane, to Jacob. Jacob took the ball, and that we've seen that over and over in the modern football now. Going onto the line and pulling it back, and then boom, and Jackson was right there, and what a finish.
So, first blood to Senegal here as we approach half-time. 5 minutes to the break. Nicholas Jackson with his name on the score sheet. So much experience, so many of these players in the Senegal team with previous taste of international football at tournament level, World Cups, and indeed at the Cup of Nations. But it's taken them a while to open the scoring here in Tangier.
We've seen in the opening game against Morocco Comoros, where they miss a penalty and they have to wait forever and ever and ever before they hit the back of the net, and then it opens.
Yeah, that was 55 minutes before Brahim Diaz got them going on Sunday in the opening game. We've had the threat of a few shocks, but we haven't really had any upset results just yet.
That in a major tournament like the Afcon, definitely we will see it. It's a marathon.
Well, you were there 2 years ago watching Equatorial Guinea thump the hosts in their own backyard. What a game that was.
Not just humping them, sacking the coach.
Okay, finds Mane. Nice movement from Senegal. That is Jacobs who gets it square. And will this be a corner? No, goal kick, says the referee.
He's getting a lot of, combination play with Sani on the left side, and they've been using that left side pretty well.
Excellent press as well from Senegal. Peko gets himself out of a potential squeeze there. Gay with Sa, up with Mane, now Iliman Jai. Oh, this is fabulous football, and Peko to the rescue. Free-flowing stuff from Senegal now, turning it on.
They're showing their dominance now.
Just a little too much on that occasion from Diatta. And there'll be a yellow card as well for the challenge.
When you have a stack of stars in your team, and professional players, you see those combinations, you see how sleek those combinations were.
They had a couple of days together, the Senegalese in Dakar, the entire team assembling in Senegal, all the players coming in from Europe. Went to the presidency to collect the flag to bring with them as a symbolic gesture of support from the country, and a couple of training sessions here in Tangier as well, but certainly nothing like the preparation that Botswana have had. A fortnight of camp in Tunisia, trying to replicate the conditions that they are dealing with here.
Imagine a team like Senegal should get that kind of, period in camp for the quality that they have. Or Nigeria, of course.
Now, Sekanyeng, this might be Botswana's first opportunity. Kiabato too soft there as he looks for Orebonye.
That's the decision-making that we were talking about earlier.
Now the first touch from Orebonye is not bad. And in the end, some excellent defending from Moussa Niakite. Plays for Lyon in France. But set-piece chance here for the Zebras as we edge towards half-time. 3 minutes being added on here by our referee from Mauritania.
Sani thought, the foul was for him, but unfortunately the referee saw it otherwise. The Senegalese bench definitely will be wary because, in any team, any football team, there is one player from that range that can hit the back of the net.
So nothing to do so far, Edouard Mendy. And he'll have to have his wits about him now. 33-year-old goalkeeper, formerly in France and then with Chelsea, now with Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah. So three-man wall for Senegal and 3 men around the ball for Botswana, discussing what they might conjure up. Johnson's there along with Orebonye. And Sekanyeng as well. One of those three to have a effort on goal here and see if they can beat Edouard Mendy on the stroke of half-time, get Botswana right back into this game. It's taken a little bit of a deflection, so they are going to get a corner, but
you can see that it's a training ground routine, but I think they didn't get it the way they were supposed to.
Perhaps not trained hard enough. They will have the corner opportunity, though, just before half-time. A few more seconds now before we can expect the half-time whistle. This is surely the last chance of the half. It's going to be taken by Johnson. Curls it to the back post. There was a little touch in there for Botswana. Kararowe coming forward from his defensive position, Botswana's most experienced international. And he didn't really get a clean touch. He was perhaps impeded by Nicholas Jackson.
It was a beautiful swing. Unfortunately, like you did say, he didn't get the contact that he really wanted.
Now, concern for Senegal. There's a galaxy of stars at their disposal, but it's been a particularly good contribution in this game from Ismail Jacobs. He's now based in Galatasaray, of course, but made his name in the Bundesliga. And this was the pass that set up the goal for Nicholas Jackson.
They got everything spot on, from the pass from Mane, from the pullback from Jacob, from the finish from Jackson. What a combination goal.
Half-time whistle's gone here in Tangier. A wet Tuesday afternoon at the Africa Cup of Nations. A little bit of a struggle for Senegal, but they have the lead.
Yeah, what really matters, is getting that goal and getting that edge, and for them, I think that they will be happy going into the locker room. But I think Coach Morena on his own, I think he shouldn't be that disappointed. They've been compact and they've been pull out a bit of counter, and if he can get an edge to find a way where they can have a break from the side, probably they're going to end up getting something at the end of the day.
Senegal 1, Botswana 0 here at half-time. 1,000-seater, the Grand Stade de Tanger, which will host matches at the 2030 World Cup, as well as going all the way up to the semi-final here at the Africa Cup of Nations. And if Senegal keep to their winning ways, this could be their home base for 6 games.
Until the semi-finals.
All the way to the semi-finals. Daniel Amokachi alongside me. African Cup of Nations great, of course, with Nigeria. Now, what about Botswana? A couple of great saves from the goalkeeper, but they really haven't been in this game. It could have been a little bit of a tennis score at half-time. Thanks to the goalkeeper, it's only 1-0, but are we going to see a deluge in the second half, or you reckon the Zebras might yet come back into this game?
It depends on what Coach Moreno, puts on the plate, in the locker room, because they need to, to surge forward if they want something out of this game. But you're already losing. You're playing a team like Senegal. I think you should push up and try and see if you can get something out of it.
Botswana in the black colours, and of course Senegal in all white here. And the goal from Nicholas Jackson late in the first half, separating these two sides. Earlier on, Democratic Republic of Congo winners against Benin. They also scored a first half goal and went on to a fairly comfortable win. So they've got 3 points, the Congolese. And Senegal looking to join them at the top of the table. Remember, later on, Group C gets underway. Nigeria are playing Tanzania this evening in Fez, and then it's Tunisia, Uganda. So 4 matches today in the Cup of Nations. We're all going to be rather bleary-eyed come the end of today's games, and another 4 tomorrow as well, which keeps up the momentum.
Yeah, well, it's this what the championship is all about. That's what the tournament is all about. You get the opportunities to play, especially when you're playing your first games. Try and get your 3 points and get that comfortable moving forward.
So Johnson will float the free kick in, and Koulibaly beaten in the air.
What a surprise, with the smallest man on the field.
Skipper de Klokwe looks as if he's forced a corner here. They finished the first half with a corner, and now they'll get another set-piece opportunity. Up in the air there from Koulibaly, under pressure from his opposite number.
Is possible from a corner kick, the way with the VAR being involved in every second.
It'll be a left footer as well from Johnson, looking to curl it in on top of Mendy. Lots of pushing and shoving in that area. Here it comes, Johnson, straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. No one really challenging him, but fairly comfortable in the end. Now Senegal, quick counter. Jackson. Diatta on the overlap and was looking to provide the square pass, but comfortably collected by Pogba. No changes, by the way, at half-time. Botswana playing their first international since October, when they drew with Guinea at the end of the World Cup qualifiers, but you can see already players being warmed up.
Players, the league is still going on. Players, have been tired and all that. And if you find a room to rest players, get players involved, why not?
Mendy's had 2 touches already this half, which I think is double the number he had in the first 45 minutes.
That's encouragement from the bench, because like I said, they have nothing to lose. Just keep push. Don't give room to concede many goals, because it might end up biting you at the end of the first 3 games of the round. But it's a beautiful, magnificent stadium.
Absolutely stunning, and I presume as we get closer to the final, mid-January, semi-final, quarter-final, we're going to have some really big crowds here.
And today I think we have 10,000 plus. It looks like it, but the stadium is massive, so you wouldn't know that. You would feel like the stadium is not that full packed.
And obviously the poor weather would have counted against quite a few people coming, which a little bit of a dampener on the occasion, but plenty of good football to enthuse over. Morocco with some wonderful facilities in this competition. Of course, we saw in the Ivory Coast 2 years ago what good pitches can do to a tournament and how it can really turn the event into something really special. Previous Cup of Nations in the past were perhaps hampered by a lack of suitable pitches to play on, but the standard was set 2 years ago in the Ivory Coast, and Morocco certainly kept it up, if not improved on it. Now, out comes Poko. And he's going to get a little relief here.
It's good to see him putting himself in danger, because that shows you a player who really wants to win for his country. Talking about facility, we've seen how the rain pour had been damp and pouring, but just look at the pitch. The drainage sucks everything out, and the playing surface, the ball keeps rolling normally the way it's supposed to run in a normal dry day.
Jackson making a little contact there with Poko, and he gets the free kick. Flick on from Odobonye, and a free kick now for a high challenge. What's up?
We'll see our first year lookout for the game.
Goes the way of Kiabato, the 32-year-old who scored the decisive goal that put Botswana in this competition. They drew away in Cairo in their last qualifier. No one really gave them any chance. They got a 1-1 draw, which was enough to see them finish second behind Egypt in their qualifying group and ahead of Mauritania to qualify for this tournament.
It was a roller coaster, because their first 3 games, everybody has given up. And the change of the manager, a team just turned around, and here they are in Morocco.
You've come into this game on the back of 8 matches without success. Botswana had a particularly good World Cup qualifying campaign, but here they are, the Cup of Nations for a second time, 13 years after their debut appearance, up against the might of Senegal. Mane. Little interception from Dikokwe, and chance now for Botswana. Sekanyeng up against Koulibaly, very nicely done with Diatta. Jacobs.
Botswana, they're very compact. They're very disciplined. Moving forward and backwards. They just need that edge. Their decision making moving forward. Probably that's what they really need for now.
This is Mane. Jacobs has gone on the run. A little bit of a decoy. Mane towards the back post. Goal kick it'll be. Early stages of this second half. Coach Papa Buna Tiao took over from Aliou Cisse last year.
Nobody saw the changes coming, It's unfortunate, because I think Cisse did pretty well, but when you have a country like Senegal who are well, they need a win in every single game. Your job is always on the line.
Yep. Maybe a bit of politics involved as well with a change in the federation. Now, Jacobs. Okay. Mane seen plenty of the ball inside for Jacobs. Can he pull it back? It's past Mane, and Jai was looking for it. And Botswana will get it forward. First touch, though, a little bit heavy. It is Botswana ball that comes off Diata. Belapi will be the man to take it.
They're taking their time, you know, for a team that, you know, is losing. They need a bit of urgency if they want to get something out of this game.
Senegal with those colourful spectators will be hoping to stay for the entire month. Final, of course, on the 18th of January in Rabat. It's a long way to go still before we find out the identity of the winners of this 35th edition of the African Cup of Nations.
If you are better, put your money on Nigeria.
That's said without a hint of bias. Now, Gay. Jackson, 7th goal for his country in that first half. That's a good challenge at the back. Botswana's veteran defender, Malolwe, who's been in the national team for 12 years now.
Consistency.
This time a clearing header away. Senegal on the march on the far side will get the free kick. Conceded by Sekanyeng. 32 now. Sekanyeng played the place here in Morocco, not far away from Tanger, in Fez. He stint in the South African League as well previously in the colours of Galaxy and Chipper United. To the byline, Njai, just a little too much.
Did everything right, but you know he overpushed the ball. When a player is very tricky, he always like to keep the ball and keep it from like, you know, what a player for the season he's been having in the Premiership.
So discussion on the bench for Botswana. What changes might be in the offing for the Zebras? Coach Ramon Ruboli in discussion with the rest of his technical team. Belapi. Back to Oriboni. Stolen away in the middle. Neatly done by Gay. And now an opportunity for Jackson again. Too easy. Far too easy. Nicholas Jackson doubles his score. And Senegal have a 2-0 lead.
What a goal, what a goal, what a finish. You know, that's a clumsy play from Botswana. And then, you know, when you're playing a team like, you know, like Senegal, who has stacks of stars, you know, you don't afford to make a, you know, a silly mistake. You know, they gave the ball so easily, you know, and a good break from Senegal, and what a goal from Jackson.
And it's taken 12 minutes of the second half for Senegal to double their lead here in Tangier.
What a composed finish. You can see a player who is playing with full.
8 years or so ago now, and competing these days for the champions, or former champions, running Galaxy. Cecinho's just come on, got a vital goal in the World Cup qualifiers against Cape Verde, or in the Cup of Nations qualifiers, the previous ones, this time last year against Cape Verde, who of course are going to the World Cup but aren't here. One of two African countries who've qualified for the World Cup next June but are not competing at the Cup of Nations. The other one, of course, is the Black Stars of Ghana. 9 African countries at the World Cup in June, July in Canada, Mexico and the United States. And there could be 10 if the Congolese win their playoff in March in Mexico.
With what I saw from them against Nigeria and what I saw against Benin earlier, I think they have a very good chance of making the Mundial. But in football, you can never say till the fat lady sings after 90 minutes.
Probably be up against Jamaica in the key game. That lies ahead for Congo. Here's Senegal on the charge. Ditsele with a little interception. That red hairstyle of his, making him stand out a little from the rest of his teammates. Now let's see what the changes can do. Maponya. Yakite all the way back to goalkeeper Mende.
I think Senegal should just, keep the ball. You're already 3 points in the bag. Just keep passing the ball, wait for an opening, and don't stress yourself because you have a lot of football to be played.
Garnagay finds his Everton teammates in Njai. Jacobs on the left-hand side. Now you wonder if they're going to ease their way through these final 30 minutes or they'll put on a bit of a show for us here, Senegal. Plenty of football still to come. There's no reason to exhaust your stores of energy. Jackson looking for the hat-trick though. Straight at the goalkeeper.
Unlucky. I think he tried to, to bend the ball into the corner, but unfortunately he's miscued it. Back to what you're saying, Mike. I think you're already 2 goals up. You have quality on the bench. You look at the stack of players, they have on the bench. You can rest some certain players. Player like Jackson want to stay onto the field to get his hat trick. Why not?
Ditsele for Botswana. They'll be going off to Rabat after this game. Benin is their next opponent. A game I'm sure they'll be targeting for a win. You never know, 3 points might be enough to progress into the last 16. We've seen in the past countries go through as one of the 4 third-place finishers with just 3 points. Egypt,
the winners last tournament.
Exactly, in Egypt as well. They had those 3 draws in the first round.
3 points.
is perhaps as much as Senegal deserve.
Yeah, definitely. Credit to to the goalkeeper. I think he kept them in the game for that long. They have put in 3 behind the net and could have easily be set.
90 seconds of stoppage time has elapsed. We've got 4 minutes in total added on by our referee from Mauritania. Chokwe.
And when you look at all the teams, or rather the countries in the southern region, I think Botswana, they're the list of players who have those talents, isn't it? You look at Namibia. When you see Namibia and the Kosafa, they play good football.
Yeah, I think Botswana, give them a chance in the game against Benin, and they might be able to show you a thing or two. It's a competitive league there, and well structured, good organisation, a proficient football association, good youth football as well. Botswana.
They always do pretty well in Kosafa. Well, credit to Morembe, because he was down, but he brought in players who can make a difference, and they did make the difference. Going forward, he could have easily bring in players and say, okay, let me hold back, let me not concede more goals. I've already conceded 1 or 2, but he went all out for it.
Now, is there to be a consolation? Botswana on the edge of the area. And that decision will go against Sisigne. Final minute now in Tangier, the second game in Group D at the Cup of Nations finals. And Senegal to the top, alongside the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Botswana will have plenty to do now with Benin, their next opponents, and then they finish, of course, against the Congolese, both of those games in Rabat. Senegal will stay here in Tangier on the northern coast of Africa, within sight of Spain, of course. Is there to be a fourth in this final couple of seconds for Senegal? Doesn't find Njai. Referee's had a look at his watch. That's it, all over. So, comprehensive win. Big gap between the two teams in terms of the world rankings, in terms of history and performance, and I think we saw that as well on the pitch, Daniel.
Yeah, from the first second of the game, it showed up. Pressure upon pressure, chances upon chances. They end up, nicking one in, and then in the second half, they wrapped it up. Quality play from Koulibaly and the different Jacob from the right side. Jackson that's caught 2, Guian and Yang. They are 2 Scouser from Everton. They didn't disappoint, today, but credit go to Senegal. We've seen this out of Senegal in the last Afcon. I hope they don't get carried away with that arrogancy that they took into the last tournament, and then it ended up biting them. I just hope they keep calm and just keep doing what they're doing, because for now they look the better team in all the games that we've watched so far.
So 3-0 it ends. Senegal go to the top of the table. 3-0 up against Botswana.
Well, at least the Zebras ended up happy, not humiliated, thanks to their goalkeeper who made a lot of saves. And at the end of the day, if it wasn't for him, we could have been talking something else right here.
Yeah.
Know what to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, what to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, what to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. you have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way Jackson did. You have that quality and you have that confidence, you can afford, you know what, to play with the ball and chip the ball over the goalkeeper the way
could bring any impact?
Yes, mind you, this is a game of experience. You've seen Tanzania has only participated 4 times in the Afcon, while Nigeria 21 times. you expect players like Faye Toto to give you quality because the experience, try to push the team. Bringing a youngster as Alphonse new into this experience could actually cause trouble. We have seen new players with such a big spotlight, sometimes you freeze. So you kind of expected magic from Faye Toto, long distance shooting to give us an edge into facing Nigeria.
Okay, let us have a look in the lineup right now, and then Peter Otai, get ready. I have a couple of questions regarding experience and a lot of stuff which I'm about to witness in this game today. So that's the squad for national team of Tanzania coming up with 4-3-3.
Yeah, Foba, the young Foba is in goal. Then, of course, Mohamed Hussein, Hamad, Monyeto, and Shumari Kapumbe are the ones that are operating the back. And, of course, you have a footballer called Mombwa, together Msanga, all available in there. And, of course, the shot number 8 is the usual. Okay, that's Mombwa, sorry.
Mombwa, yeah.
Then 27 is Msanga. Looking for the goals up front, Msuva, together with Samata, and 26 belonging to, that is Alakia, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, that is how it will be standing for the Tanzanians. 4-3-3.
Okay, so I'm coming up with a thing, because I was talking about the experience and the issue of having some experienced player. They say that one of a position, we need an experienced player who can allocate and guard defense. Is a goalkeeper. Having a young goalkeeper and have the experienced guys who have been having a lot of caps of type of stars. Shomari Kapombe, Mohamed Hussein, Baka and Job.
Yeah. To be honest, I should have expected for the squad to have Manula, but unfortunately he wasn't called. So now we have a youngster on goal. Could be a little bit of challenge, but then we have experienced Mamieto, and then you have Baka. Hopefully they will be able to help organize the defense and be that commanding force towards staying compact and really taking on to the pressure. Again, I hope the new goalkeeper doesn't get too excited, because I know Super Eagles have been coming with flying crosses and deadly balls for Osemi.
Let us look at the lineup of Super Eagles before we start analyzing the tactical aspect of the game. This guy. Okay.
Victor Osimhen.
Okay, Victor Osimhen. They're coming up with the same tactical approach of a game, 4-3-3.
Yeah.
And that's the squad of Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria have a very experienced goalkeeper. That is Nwabali. He's been there. He knows what it's all about. So he's one good goalkeeper that you have to look out for. Then, of course, Zaidu, Basse, Ajayi, Osei, all available at the back. Then you have Iwobi, Ndidi, and Chuku. Then looking for the goal, Lukman, Osimhen, and Adams. That's that's
Sandulise, Tanzania, there is an underdog story there. They're the next hosts of the Africa Cup of Nations, or co-hosts at least. They need this tournament to be strong. The importance of getting off to a strong start from a Tanzanian perspective against Nigeria.
Well, if they want to stand any chance against this Nigerian team, I think they just have to play 100%. They have to play their best football today. But that notwithstanding, I think for Nigeria to dominate this game, Nigeria has to really be important in this tournament. Nigeria has to impose their physicality in this game. They have to really take control of this game from the beginning. So it's going to be pretty important how Nigeria starts this game.
So the sides out, the CAF anthem complete. We pause now for the national anthems of the respective sides, Nigeria and Tanzania. Nigeria, we hailed the readopted last year. And now for the national anthem of Tanzania. Mungu ibariki Africa. God bless Africa. And indeed, the Africa Cup of Nations is a blessing for many on the continent. It's a blessing and an opportunity for these players here and now. We're moments away as the anthems fade, hands are shaking, eyes getting locked in. You can see it on the faces. There's pride, there's nerves, there's belief. Nigeria will shoulder expectation. Tanzania will wear theirs like fuel. Stanley Nwabali starts in goal for the Super Eagles, a man who had an impressive clean sheet run at the last Africa Cup of Nations, but ahead of him he's got a very strong defensive lineup. Led by Calvin Bassey, Shemi Ajayi is 3 away from 50 international appearances for Nigeria as well. Wilfred Ndidi, Alex Iwobi among those who will lock up things in midfield, but watch out for the dangerous players wide. Chukwueze, Lukman and Osimhen starts with Adams in a dangerous attacking front prong. This is a Nigerian side that has got all the potential to do something extraordinary at this tournament. Can they start on the front foot here with a positive platform to launch a successful campaign? For Tanzania, the Taifa Stars, as they pose for their pre-match photographs, there'll be coin toss conducted between the respective captains momentarily, but a Taifa Stars side that shows some belief themselves. A quick meet and greet between the respective coaches, Miguel Gamondi of Argentina, who coaches Tanzania, and Eric Schell, the Cote d'Ivoire-born Franco-Malian coach who is in charge of Nigeria and has been since January this year, nearly a year in the role. Coin toss being conducted by Dan Beda, who turns 34 next week, the Mauritanian man who's been a FIFA official since 2018 and one of the finest on the continent. Ndidi and Samata shake hands. There's much respect between the two, but formalities all but complete. Haga Hussam Ibrahim is the man in charge of the VAR room. He is the video assistant referee for today's tie. Tanzania line up as follows at the Complex Sportif de Fez. It's a very first international start for Zuberi Foba, who is in goal for this Tanzanian side. Hussein down the left flank is critical in terms of his experience. So too the likes of Novatus Miroshi, who's now playing in Turkey. But up front it is Bwana Samata, who wears the captain's armband, who leads the line, and Simon Msuva, who plays his 100th match in an international jersey for Tanzania, but 7 of his previous 99 fixtures have not been official matches, so it's only his 93rd cap today, but 100 international appearances is a milestone in its sense that should be celebrated. Nigeria and the huddle. Tanzania spread out across the park. They are ready. Final word from the captains, perhaps. Referee checking his watch. The ball resting on the centre spot. Nigeria know they must impose themselves early. Tanzania know they need to survive, absorb, and then strike when invited. The countdown has begun. This is Africa's game at its rawest. Its passion, its identity, and its possibility compressed into 90 minutes. Dani Bede says we can get underway, and Nigeria kick us off at the Complex Sportif de Fez. The journey begins, the stories start to write themselves, and somewhere in this match, character will be revealed as the next chapter is written. It's Nigeria in their traditional green and black. It is Tanzania in the blue and yellow. Hello and welcome as Al Rahia gets onto the end of a ball for Tanzania, looking to push forward down towards the near side where Mombwa looks back to his midfield. This is a busy Tanzanian side who enjoy passing the ball around. Miroshi with a little error that is seized upon immediately by Lukman, who finds Osimhen, and Nigeria look to pounce early. The cutback, it falls into a little pocket of space inside the 18-yard area. And my word, what a frantic start we've had. Because I'd like to introduce the man alongside me, who, between us, we have 1 Olympic gold medal. Sunday Olise, the legendary Super Eagles player and coach, is alongside for this tie. Nigeria against Tanzania at this Complex Sportif de Fez. Group C start for both these sides. And Nigeria want to get this match off on the front foot, but Tanzania looking to take something from this tournament as they host the next one. A quick look at Eric Schell, the Nigeria head coach, the 48-year-old in charge. Almost a year he's been in the role now, while his opposite number, Miguel Gamondi of Argentina, is the Tanzania coach. But Sunday, just looking at this fixture, lots of importance wrapped into 90 minutes here and now.
This game is extremely important for Nigeria, more than it is for Tanzania. I think that from the onset, we cannot afford to just play this game. We have to take control of this game, and we must win this game. Nigeria must win this game. It's a must win, and tactically, the way the Tanzanians are put on the pitch now, is very obvious that they are all set up for a counter-attacking football. And that means that Nigeria has to be very, very careful when they lose the ball.
Opportunity down the centre here. Chukwueze in a central role, looks to feed it out wide. Delivery comes from the flying fullback. Zaidu Sunusi finds himself up in an attacking area. Final touch of Bright Osei. It's Taran Alarahia, the 28-year-old, based in England, in Rochdale. Been around a while for Tanzania, has not played overly many matches. Made his debut ahead of the start of the last Afcon tournament as a warm-up match against Egypt. It's Calvin Bassey.
Nigeria cannot afford to play this game with a very slow tempo. The Tanzanian players are not used to very high tempo, as is evidenced by the club sides they play for. So as long as you play this tempo, a very slow tempo, they will be used to it. So we need to go faster.
Rack up the intensity, and a man who knows all about intensity is Victor Osimhen. Down he goes, takes a tumble under the challenge of the hard man from Yanga, Ibrahim Abdullah. Holds up his hand in an apologetic fashion. Looking to make that challenge from an awkward angle. Ends up taking down Osimhen without touching the ball. Free kick, Ajayi. Try again, nods it back to Bright Osei. Here's Nwabali. I think there's a lot of pressure on Nwabali.
There is more than a lot of pressure, Dwayne, because the issue is that Nwabali he's had a difficult time lately, and he just has to perform. He has to perform.
Ball out to the far side. Zaidu Sunusi joining the attacking line. Iwobi controls Mattis inside to Chukwueze. Outside of the boot. Little crisp on the delivery. Ricochets out towards Ajayi. Calvin Bassey alongside him.
We can see from here that there's too little movement from the Nigerian side when they're in ball possession. And that's why they can't find players to play in those deep holes that are in front.
And this is where Iwobi brings that leadership on the park that perhaps is required.
Yeah, players like Iwobi have to really make sure they find players in those loopholes.
That's very, very good recovery from Abdullah to deny Osimhen potential on the end of that. Chukwueze looks from range, and well, it was a little bit of a bobble. Zuberi Forba manages to bring that under control. Zuberi Forba Musudi. It's his first ever international start, and it's come against Nigeria at an Africa Cup of Nations. It doesn't really get much bigger than this. He's played a sum total of 24 minutes off the bench for Tanzania previously. So this is dropping the Azam goalkeeper into the proverbial deep end. But will he sink or swim?
Well, I'm kind of optimistic for the manager. I need to be. we all need to be. But when this is what the Tanzanian team, this is where they could be very dangerous. A team that is playing deep defensively, all they need now are set pieces. This is dangerous for Nigeria. Set pieces are what teams that play counter-attack live for.
Delivery in, and Nwabali has no problem in plucking that out of the air. Had a very good run at the last Africa Cup of Nations, where he kept a host of clean sheets. Didn't concede between the opening match against Equatorial Guinea until the semi-final against South Africa.
Okay, yeah.
As he ended up maintaining a run of 494 minutes without conceding, which is astonishing at a tournament of this level. As he will be again, dictating pace and tempo. Say forward.
The tempo is too slow. It has to be quicker than that. Yeah.
And this time, Novatus Miroshi, not somebody who's characteristically putting in a stray pass in midfield, manages to pass to the opponent, and Nigeria back in possession. Calvin Bassey. Again, he will be there asking for the ball, pleading for the ball, receives the ball. Now Chukwueze. Zaidu Sanusi asked a great deal of Sanusi. Goal kick it is.
Not a bad ball, but it's just the dosage that I think was not. Yeah, because the ball got to him eventually. So.
Might have a point, Zaidu Sanusi.
Yeah, I think so.
Good call for a corner kick there. It should be steered forward by Kapombe. Veteran Simba defender. Just taking a look at the respective coaches, though. Eric Schell is perhaps a little younger, more tactically modernised than Gamondi, who's a seasoned veteran, very pragmatic coach. Somebody who 20-odd years ago was coaching in South Africa, winning league titles.
Well, we're kind of like seeing it already in the way the teams are playing. One is already playing pragmatic, and while the other one is going, offensive. So
maybe that's out of necessity,
coupled with the nature of the manager.
Miguel Gamondi, here he is, seasoned traveller in African football circles. He's coached with Burkina Faso, he's coached in Morocco, in fact, with Wydad. He's coached in Tunisia with Esperance, with Mamelodi Sundowns, the former continental champions in South Africa, Belouizdad in Algeria. And more recently with young Africans in Singida Black Stars in Tanzania. Here's a chance for Nigeria again, little breakthrough, tight angle, acute angle, and it's brilliantly blocked by Foba to deny Akor Adams, the very physical, mobile striker.
These are occasions Nigeria has to make very good use of. The sooner they can break, the better it is. And beautiful movement by Akor here. The lateral movement before going deep. That's what kept him away from the offside. Very, very beautiful movement. Unfortunately, the finishing did not equate the movement.
Well, he's somebody who brings a lot of mobility up front for this Nigerian side. He's a physical presence, very strong, very mobile. His finishing is excellent. That's his movement, I think, that is often so critical.
Well, from this movement he just made, it kind of like tells you where he's playing. These are the kind of movements you see a lot from the Spanish players.
That's right, yeah.
And that's he plays his football in Seville, if I'm not abusing.
Indeed.
So that's, you can see that the movement he gave was, first of all, lateral. The fact that he goes lateral makes it difficult for the defender to take him on. And when the ball comes in, it saves him from being on offside. And that's what he just showed here. So kids watching, learn from this.
Learn from this. Learn from the Brains Trust meeting for Nigeria as well. There will be Bassi, Osimhen among those, Shemi Ajayi is in there, Ndidi, all having a little chat just off to the side of this area. Our attention focused on the goalkeeper Foba, who was receiving a little medical attention after perhaps catching the ball in the face. As Akor Adams looked to finish. 10 minutes gone, no goals as yet, but Nigeria have the corner here. Chukwueze. Header off the woodwork. Agonisingly close, the taller men forward, and Nigeria with a crisp delivery from Chukwueze are inches away from taking the lead in this tie, as Bassi came running onto it with some power behind it as well.
Yeah, very good movement for Bassi. They've taken off, and the way he's able to stay.
No,
it's not Bassi.
Thought it was Bassi from our angle, from our vantage point, but it's Akor Adams who's got the final touch on that. Foba looks for the long ball downfield. That Ndidi nods back in towards Tanzanian territory. Picked up though by Tanzanian defence. Miroshi looks to bring it near side. Confirmation that it remains goalless. Salarahia unable to reel that in. They're missing one of their playmakers today. Unavailable is Faisal Saloum. Feitoto, a nickname he often plays under. somebody who's played on the domestic scene in Tanzania, and many have expected him to make the move beyond Tanzanian borders. Such is his creativity, but unavailable today. Little push through, and this time defence required. Mieto looking to deny the chance. Kapombe, some work out wide as well for Tanzania. Nigeria have Osimhen central, 2 players looking to get on the end of that. Abdullah, I think, got the touch on it before it rolled out of play. Throw in to Nigeria right near the corner flag. Oh, sorry. Quick little 1-2 with his captain. Back to Ajay. Calvin Bassey now. 3 of these players play in the Premier League with Fulham. Nigeria brought a very strong and pedigreed side, but Chukwueze Iwobi, like Bassey, both they find themselves playing in the Premier League with Fulham.
It's pretty obvious, and it's pretty obvious what the Tanzanians are playing, what they're doing, and so far they are doing it well.
Kapombe flying up on their far side flank. He's got 2 men to aim at. Maybe just offside, but a lovely acrobatic attempt at a finish that Nwabali gathers up cleanly. A little bit of a run from Suva into an attacking area. He's a decidedly dangerous finisher.
The Super Eagles have to attack, but at the same time, they have to be very careful and make sure that they don't allow the opposition to go on a counter.
That ball just in behind Shemi Ajayi. You don't want your defenders looking back at their goal. There's a lovely ball in behind the Nigerian defensive line. Inside Sanusi. Spent his entire career playing in Portugal. First with Santa Clara, now with Porto, where he's been for the longest time. Continues to create havoc against Benfica. Did so when he was at Santa Clara, did so when he was at Porto. Loves O Clásico. Scored in O Clásico as well. Iwobi. Long ball, just a little too heavy and kind for Zuberi Foba, who gathers that up. Kapombe's outlet. In midfield, Miroshi is dropped back deep. A little bit of speed building up for Tanzania down that far side flank again. There's an opportunity. Out of play. Tanzanian throw. Bassey with a little bit of cover defence. Al-Arahi a little more central now. Usually plays in a wider position. Chukwueze picks up the loose ball, and here's a chance for Lukman. Osimhen looking to time his run as he's straight into an offside position. Maybe the chance to shoot. Fires powerfully and wide, and then eventually the offside flag is raised.
That was pretty what I'm hoping to see a lot from Nigeria. That is the counter and quick play, very few touches going forward. But I think if Osimhen had applied the lateral movement we spoke about earlier on a little bit more, he would have been able to keep himself onside. And his first touch got the ball moving away from him anyway. So that made it difficult for him to finish.
Difficulty here. Calvin Bassey, culprit, free kick going the way of Tanzania. The man who celebrates his 33rd birthday today, captain of Tanzania, Mbwana Samata. The player fouled, he'll be the danger man. He's a player for the big occasion, and he's proved that in his time at Aston Villa, played in the Premier League, scored in the Premier League, and his status as one of the finest from East Africa is very much secure, but he looks to see his star rise further here.
He is one player the Tanzanians will be looking to be on the ball should they get a scoring chance.
Well, I think he'll be the one player who's going to be expected to be starved of supply today. Video analysts these days come into the game so often, but Nigeria is certainly dominating the attack Sunday.
We're dominating everything here.
Delivery in on the edge of that 18-yard area. Again, it's a slightly heavy first touch. Lukman.
The transition has to be quicker.
Yep. So The use of transition ball a couple of times has been crisp from Nigeria. On a couple of occasions, though, they've slowed the momentum down and failed to catch Tanzania on the counter. Ndidi. Nearly a little captain-on-captain action as Samata charged him down. Chukwueze wanted it, but it's gone the way of Lukman. Alarahia into a little pocket of space, coming across. Calvin Bassey nicely picked up on it. Again, looking for a little flick onto somebody running from deep. Momba was expecting the ball to come out his way. On the near side as well. Maybe that option not seen. Alarahia. And that's a little too strong in behind Samata to correct his run and claim possession.
It's pretty clear what the Tanzanians are formatted to do. We go compact, and when we get the ball back, we try to transition so quick as possible forwards. But they're doing it very well because the transitions, they just play one or two balls lateral, and then the next one is vertical. And that's what's making them push up forward easily against Nigeria at the moment.
You will be finding Lukman. Akor Adams. The ball snatched away. Battling in midfield is Demola Lukman. Alarakia down the near side flank. He's forcing Bright a few steps back, Bright will say. Chukwueze loses possession, now a little run straight through the centre. Miroshi looking to create a little magic. Samata picks up on possession. Alarakia. Few outlets. Hussein is the one he chooses. The left back, standing close.
In as much as they seem to be playing a 4-4-2 formation, the Tanzanians, by ball possession, they're able to find themselves in triangles. And that's what's making it possible for them to really be able to play.
Oh, look at the pace of Chukwueze, just blazing his way past a few before eventually conceding a free kick. Tanzania, Kapombe, charging through to deny passage. Chukwueze recently earned his 50th appearance for Nigeria. Man who made his name at Villarreal. Oh, what a yellow submarine of a team he played in. So as we come up towards the 20th minute, I can tell you that there's a gentle rain that is starting to fall on the pitch now. And with it might bring some damp conditions that might prove testing for goalkeepers, so maybe a few long-range efforts on the cards. Bounce the ball in front of a goalkeeper. They do not like the ball bouncing in front of them in wet conditions, I can tell you. Nigeria 0, Tanzania 0 through 20 minutes of this Group C tie. Morocco 2025 well and truly alive as both these sides begin their Afcon campaign here and now. Akor Adams, was he onside? Looks to pull it back. Hussein with the defence.
Very mobile, Akor. Left, right, he's moving all through the face of the attack line.
Delivery into a danger area, and it's only just over the head of Victor Osimhen. Free kick awarded, though, to Tanzania as the rain starts to come down a little heavier now. Just a little push in the back, perhaps, of Bakari Momyeto.
Very beautiful pull-out.
Some inviting deliveries.
Exactly, he was looking for the second post there. And that is mostly dangerous, but very well negotiated by the goalkeeper.
And so a lot of responsibility on his shoulders as well. I remind you, a first international start for Zuberi Foba, the 23-year-old goalkeeper who is man between the sticks for Tanzania today. Youngster from Azam. He brings some continental experience. in the CAF Confederation Cup into this tournament. Chukwueze again. Looks for a teammate. Osimhen can't find a finish from a ball that shot out in his direction. Zaidu Sanusi nods forward. He will be. Quick movement. 4 players wait inside the area for Nigeria. That's too strong. And skidding off the damp surface now. Sees the ball out of play and harmlessly rolls away for a Nigerian throw.
Those are the kind of pull-outs that we should avoid at the moment because of the nature of the pitch at the moment. And it's raining now. You have to try and get this ball low.
Yeah, I mean, we often talk about the rain, and sometimes you can actively see how it's disrupting a match. But when you're playing at this level with some of the finest footballers of the continent around you and against you, I mean, how challenging are the conditions when it starts to rain like this?
It shouldn't be challenging because the way you play, you have to change it. That's why you're a professional. The moment if it's raining, if the pitch is wet or if it's dry, it kind of like.
Shot here maybe going over was Lukman, but referee well positioned to make the call, says nothing in it. Tanzania show a little speed, looking for a way through, eventually work the ball back towards their goalkeeper, and Forba steers it high but not overly far. Hussein gets a touch and Al-Arakia brings it under control. Hussein, one of the longest servants of Tanzanian football, up to another particularly long-serving individual in Samata. Kapombe, Msuva, Samata and Hussein, players who've been around for the longest time for Tanzania. 3 of them approaching 100 international appearances, as Miroshi, who's among the more talented undoubtedly, works the ball out wide. Recently moved to Turkey, where he turns out for Göztepe now. Loose ball that'll be pounced upon. Hussein Al-Arakia on the halfway line, looking for options left and right. Space potentially opening up, and a little touch to just try to drop that ball onto the boot of Alphonse Mabula, the bright young talent now based in Azerbaijan.
As at the moment, I'm very impressed with the Tanzanians' third-man run without the ball, especially, and it's working out so well for them now.
To the near side, Chukwueze is deep. Back to Shemi Ajay. What do Nigeria need beyond just 3 points from this opening fixture?
They have to make a statement. They have to make a very big statement. And making that statement is not enough to just win this game. You have to win it convincingly.
Delivery over the top. Osimhen battling. He's been tugged on, and that'll be a free kick for Nigeria. Osimhen protesting vehemently and indeed confronting his opponent. Abdullah, I think it was, with the initial challenge. And now referee Dan Bader with a little bit of work to do to manage the situation.
Well, I think it's understandable that Osimhen he's had to deal with so much injuries lately, so he wouldn't be pleased to want to taste anything from as regards injuries. So I can understand a bit his attitude, but then again, he shouldn't exaggerate. He doesn't need to pick up a yellow card neither. So the referee's blown, and it's not a foul that is. I don't think it's a yellow card that deserves a yellow card.
I think one of the annoyances there for Osimhen was Abdullah had his hand across the face mask of Osimhen for just a moment.
That didn't look intentional to me. It looks as if he was just trying to make a foul, but not as if he was going for the masks.
So set piece is where things will resume. Nigeria stand over this. They're around 10 yards outside of the 18-yard area, just to the right of their flank, as they look to fire one towards Forba's goal.
Set pieces are very important when you're playing against a team with a packed defense like the Tanzanians. So Nigeria has to make very good use of this. Against the packed defense, when you get set pieces, you have to use it to break the deadlock.
Demola Lukman, a man who's growing in stature, both for his Italian club side Atalanta and indeed for Nigeria, after establishing himself as an England youth international and winning the Under-17 World Cup and Under-20 World Cup in 2017. Here he goes and goes wide, but it takes a little deflection on its way through. So corner kick it is, and Nigeria have another set piece coming up towards half hour now. And the longer this goes without either side scoring a goal, the greater the belief will become for Tanzania. Nigeria recognise that and looking to push from set pieces. Corner to come, and out to the corner flag goes Samuel Chukwueze. He was phenomenal in creating goals for Villarreal in that Europa League winning season. Was it 4, 5 seasons ago now?
Yeah, that was, it was, in fact, that was where he made his mark, Villarreal. But I must say that this season with Fulham, he's been pulling really his weight. And that's why he's starting today also. And I think that such players are very useful for Nigeria.
Well, jostling for position is one thing, but sometimes there's a little more than some simple jostling going on. Novartis Miroshi among those at the very centre of the situation. Calvin Bassey as well. There's Calvin on his jersey. Turns 26 next week. Abdullah is among those being spoken to. The other, Victor Osimhen.
Well, I think arguing with the Tanzanians is great for the Tanzanians at this point.
This is where tournaments are shaped. Delivery in, Foba calls and he's fouled, and call goes. There's a free kick to Tanzania.
When a team is trying to frustrate you and they're playing the negative game like the Tanzanians are doing now, I wouldn't even call it negative. I think they're just going compact, but because by ball possession, you see them go off. Having to go into such discussions, arguments with them. Oh, that was a clear foul. That was a clear foul by Bassey. But these are things that Nigeria has to avoid.
Long ball. Played in over the top and behind the Nigerian defensive line, but there's no concern for any of the Super Eagles players. It's been a period of domination for Nigeria. 6 shots to 2. They've overwhelmed with territory, possession, the passing game.
Yeah, but let's not be fooled by these statistics, because the physiognomy of this game is intentionally created by the Tanzanians, who are playing deep and leaving the play to Nigerians anyway.
Tanzania. Oh, Akor Adams gets away from 2 before being felled. Play on is the call. Hussein looks for an opportunity to whip that ball into to Mombwa. Akor Adams down after this, gliding past 2, caught by Hussein.
That's arguably a foul, but he took the ball, so I think we should give credit to the referee. But that notwithstanding, Akor has been the most active striker in the Nigerian front line.
Yes, he's got off to a rollicking start in his international career. Scored on debut against Lesotho just a couple of months ago. Scored again in the semi-finals of the World Cup playoffs against Gabon. He's constantly looking dangerous. He looks to be involved in the game. But again, it comes back to that movement of his. It allows him to look like he's part of the game and ready to pounce as required.
Exactly. That is just the motto. Technically, he's very good.
Nobody. Turns out still for Chippa United in South Africa. And he had success in Nigeria before he left for South African shores. As he will be. Oh, that's lovely.
Lovely ball.
in between the defence, round the keeper. Osimhen has taken a little too wide, cuts it back. Well, the only player there is a man who shot 40 yards across the pitch to try to deny Nigeria a chance. Momba with some excellent vision has plucked possession for Tanzania. Arakia.
That was a lovely play from Iwobi to Osimhen. But I think his first touch kind of like did him in there. But this was a real opportunity for Nigeria to strike at goal.
Well, this has been a tournament in which not too many goals have been scored in the opening half. We saw Morocco, Comoros both find their goals, both goals for Morocco in the second half. Sinayoko and Dakar both scored in the second half, and the Mali-Zambia 1-1 draw. Some late goals as well. Foster's winner for South Africa against Angola. Salah's 90th minute winner for Egypt after Marmoush had equalised in the second half against Zimbabwe. There's Chukwueze. Another dazzling run down the flank. No finish though, ultimately. Indeed, he will recover this as Hussein clears. Iwobi, his movement, his work rate has been exceptional, as it so often is for the national team. He will be among those players approaching 100 international appearances, earning his 92nd cap here and now.
And he's done all that in 10 years. Started way back in 2015.
Ajay. Over the top, Michael Adams is making the run. Abdullah with a little touch, it falls to Osimhen. Looks out wide. Maybe a cutback option there. A few of his teammates turn and look away, including Lukman.
What could help Nigeria a bit is that in possession, when we go on the attack, it's good to have movements around the man with the ball. So if he can shoot, he can find somebody.
Noali. I was mentioning he was a league winner with Nyimba in years gone by. He was also with Wiki Tourists, with Lobby Stars, Katsina United as well, I think, for a little bit. He's established a rather firm base in what is now Gqeberha in South Africa, formerly Port Elizabeth, where Chippa United share a home base. Side he's been with now for over 3 years. Samata looking to make a little bit of a break. Suva with a run diagonally that Bassi follows, and Calvin comes away with possession. Akor Adams. Osimhen into space, touches on, drives past the keeper, and surely now denied with a clearance off the line. Scrambling defensive effort that denies Nigeria the lead, courtesy of Bakari Mamnyeto.
Great strike, but Osimhen should have tried as much as possible to put that ball in the air, not on the ground. Beating the goalkeeper, the next ball should be up, forwards. That will have been more difficult for the defender to defend it.
Well, there's quality defending from Mamnyeto, younger man, to deny Osimhen, who rounded the keeper for the second time in the game, but got off an accurate shot for the first time. Chukwueze, here's Iwobi. Nigeria still pushing. High presence, the header is there, and the goal is good. Nigeria can celebrate. The Super Eagles have liftoff, and it's Shemi Ajay who scores only his second international goal.
This was exactly what we were saying earlier, where against teams that play compact, set pieces have to be used to the maximum. And that's what Nigeria has just done now. I think this was coming. This was coming because of the fact that lying so deep by the Tanzanians. Beautiful pull out. And a very good header.
That's lovely lofted in by Iwobi. But Shemi Ajay That aerial presence that is often so critical in defensive efforts becomes critical up front as he scores the opener for Nigeria.
And he attacked the ball. Very, very important. Came from behind, went towards the ball and attacked it.
Michael Adams celebrating with Shemi Ajayi. He might have had a jovial word about that's how it's done. Over the top, Alarake now for Tanzania. Looks to bustle his way past Ndidi. Well, it's bright, we'll say Samuel. A little bit of respite as Shemi Ajayi comes across as cover. Hussein. Miroshi. This is dangerous passing when you get Akor Adams in a position like that, given his speed and mobility that we've discussed on numerous occasions. This is Wana Samata, just out of picture, is showing a lot of frustration at the moment. He's being starved completely of supply. When Tanzania has the ball, he's not been the immediate outlet for them. I think he wants a little more of the ball. But this is where, wearing the captain's armband, maybe he needs to take a little more responsibility as well and direct issues even when off the ball.
That is true, but also the way they are playing, the fact what they've decided to play, the formation that they're very, very, very compact, that means that he's kind of like lonely up front. And now they have to decide, what do they do? Do they still stay backwards and be content with playing the way they've been doing ever since, or now try to push out more?
Out wide, Zaidu Sanusi. Spoke about the tempo of this match, just slowed a little now after the goal. But that goal, a solid platform for Nigeria. Here's Lukman, seeking another. Hussein has read that well. Anticipates brilliantly, does Hussein, has done throughout his entire career, the fantastic left back. Nobali. Ndidi.
It's very important now that Nigeria manages the tempo. It could be understood now to be patient and now make sure the attacks are well constructed. You're leading 1-0 anyway, so for that reason, it has to be well constructed. Take your time. Exactly.
Iwobi. Straight down the centre, Lukman again searching. That ball deflects almost kindly out towards Akor Adams. Doesn't get a touch on this, as again Momieto manages to clear. Big clashes, a few physical moments of contact. Eventually the free kick awarded to Nigeria. Calvin Bassey concerningly down.
It's kind of like, that should be a yellow card, I think. It's kind of like feels like a retaliatory foul here that I'm seeing here.
Four players involved, two of them were captains, Didi and Samata, involved in that little passage of play. 40 minutes have come and gone. Nigeria have taken the lead. We're coming up towards half-time here in Fez. The rain continues to come down, not heavily.
But I know it's the way the Tanzanians are playing. I think it's really interesting to look at because they are still disciplined. They're still following the game plan. And it's kind of as if they didn't have a plan B. That was, we're going to play this way, because if they had a plan B, that means they could have maybe agreed, how we change our game, should we concede in spite of playing deep? Hopefully they're waiting maybe for the halftime. Maybe then the boss will rearrange them.
Refuel.
Exactly. We've been talking about pragmatism earlier on.
Certainly were. The narrative continues. Free kick Tanzania. Abdullah wants to take it himself. Hussein stays forward. Hussein, who's joined Young Africans this year after 11 seasons with Simba, where he carved out legendary status. Here. We'll leave this for Hussein potentially. Indeed, he walks away. Samata walks away. Kapombe out wide. Miroshi wanted to get involved. Little pullback from Mombwa, danger area. Again, it's Ajay this time, using his aerial prowess to help defensively after having scored the only goal of this game with his head a moment ago. Straight down the centre, the option potentially there. Miroshi might fancy something, looks for Samata now. Space, Alarahia on target. Mobali in the wet, unable to seize it cleanly, but blocks the shot and then smothers it. Among those watching on, the Confederation of African Football President, Dr. Patrice Motsepe. Another look at Iwobi's wonderful ball in.
Lovely ball. Well dosed. The dosage was perfect.
Quality finish from Shemi Ajay.
The finish was made possible by the dosage he gave to the ball. Because the strength that the ball had, it was just there. All he had to do was connect with it.
Lukman inside the area, squares it. Cleared by Abdullah. Scrambling defensive effort from Tanzania. And then the free kick going the way of the Taifa Stars, who are ranked 112th in the world. Nigeria 38th. So significant separation between the sides. 5th in Africa, the Super Eagles currently. 3-time champions of the Africa Cup of Nations. Group stage exits for Tanzania in their 3 previous appearances. They've yet to win a game at the Africa Cup of Nations. They are hopeful that they can do it here as they head towards the next tournament that they will co-host with Kenya and Uganda in an East African affair. Akor Adams being spoken to. He's having his say. Akor Adams.
I really don't see what he's having his say for there, because he ran into the man a bit.
Running through his opponent. In a sense, you want to see that kind of emotion, but Afcon is one of those tournaments where emotional control is so important as well.
It's more than important, Dwayne, because at the end of the day, Africans are. This is a tournament, that championship we don't take for granted. It's the African World Cup.
Lovely ball through. Msuva looks to run onto it. 2 players wait. Alarahi is there. So too Mabula. Delivery in, and Mombwa looks to finish, but he's driven it wide, and that'll be out for the goal kick.
Nigerians are getting passive defensively. They don't try to anticipate to win the ball. It's as if they're waiting for the Tanzanians to make the mistake. They have to be very careful, because that could be costly. It's one thing to dominate the game, but it's something else to allow the opposition to play in your own half.
That is an excellent point. As we hit the 45-minute mark, only 1 minute of additional time here in Fez, one of the great cities in Africa, the cultural and spiritual capital of Morocco. It is the home of the oldest continuously operating university in the world, and Nigeria will be wanting to educate Tanzania tonight. As Osei Ndidi looks from range, and that's a brilliant effort, denied by Forbat. Chukwueze picks up on it, chance to finish, deflected and tipped over.
He should have struck it immediately. The moment the goalkeeper was on the ground, he should have used his non-kicking foot.
Oh, how about the pile driver from Ndidi in the first place?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh.
And that's supposed to be his weak foot. Here, he should have struck the ball immediately when the ball came back. The moment you do that, yeah, there is panic here, hit it. Goal is goal. It doesn't matter if it's beautiful or not.
Worked away. Ball fed in again by Chukwueze from the near side. Delivery again toward the back post. Looking for the acrobatic. And Osimhen While successful in making contact, sees his effort denied by Zuberi Foba in the Tanzanian goal. It's the first half that has seen only one goal yielded. Very quick thoughts on Olise and what you've seen in the opening 45.
Well, I think the Tanzanians have nothing to be ashamed of because I think they've played very well. Tactically, they've been very good. And I think Nigeria has been able to take the lead in this game thanks to better individual qualities.
It will be with the assist, Ajayi with the goal, Nigeria with the lead. It's 1-0 at half-time in Fez. A little huddle for Nigerian players before they make their way from the pitch. The Tanzanian players already in the tunnel. There's a distinct team spirit sense that you get from this Nigerian squad, the Super Eagles squad, where belief needs to be key if they are to launch an attack on. Can't quite bring it under control the way he would have liked. Throw into Nigeria early, and Bassi leaves it for Sanusi. No changes from either one of these sides at half-time. Are you a little surprised by that, or are you happy that they are both continuing to build on their game plans of the opening half?
I think it's a little bit normal because there has not been really monumental errors from, I think it's just Nigeria just played on their best qualities.
Osimhen!
That's a goal.
And inside the opening minutes after the restart, the offside flag is up, it won't count. But Akor Adams with a diagonal run, latches onto a ball, feeds it in. Osimhen with a finish of tremendous quality, but the flag up for offside.
Akor is a thorn on the flesh of the Tanzanians. He's mobile, he's calculating his runs. And I think for Nigeria, Osimhen has to also time his runs better.
Well, he does flirt with the offside line. Now, Dan Bede is not going to allow play to get back underway until it has been checked. The video assistant referee will need to confirm whether or not this is offside. But within seconds of the restart, Victor Osimhen with another delightful finish. He's another player who celebrates a birthday soon. Just 6 days' time, he'll celebrate his 27th birthday. And maybe looking to give himself a little bit of an early birthday present with a fine finish here. How was that touch to finish them?
But I think what we should give compliment to the movement of Akor.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's, like we said earlier on in the first half, he's been mobile, he's been very hard-working.
Well, that diagonal run was certainly telling, and his ability to cross is exceptional. He proved that with his movement, with his unselfish square ball in towards the fine finisher that is Victor Osimhen. Looking for his 32nd international goal. Only 47 appearances. Chukwueze delivering out wide. Lukman tucks in. Chukwueze now into a little pocket of space. Delightful return ball. Ararachia looks to close down, and Foba is called upon as the ball is lofted into his area. A little too close to the goalkeeper, and he's allowed a comfortable catch. Kapombe straight down the centre. A little foul.
Tactical foul, quite smart, or looks smart, because that broke the counter-attack that was building up.
Yeah, and Mwombo's got he's got a really, really good passing range. Chance Mwombo, based in Australia. Yep. Scored on debut against Niger a couple of years ago. He'd love to score against Nigeria here and now. Returning from an offside position, Al-Raqi is flagged. Nigeria can get play back underway. Alvin Bassi through the centre. Lukman couldn't bring it under control. Controlled by Miroshi in midfield for Tanzania. Here's Hussein. If they can string together a clean series of passes, though, that's the problem. Nigeria have put enough pressure to disrupt the passing game of Tanzania that when they're given space can flourish. Kapombe in toward the edge of that area. Samata crowded opts not to go through, finds Alarakia. Miroshi, chip over the top, and the run on, and that's going to stand. Mwamba has now got 3 goals in his last 2 games. Tanzania back on level terms in brilliant fashion. Samata's route blocked, the pullback, the chip over the top of the defensive line, and Mwamba with a telling run. The man who scored on debut has now scored again here.
Dwayne, this is impressive. Look at the change of direction, the change of play. This goal started from the right, shifted to the left. They moved Nigeria right, left, and when the ball came back to the left, there was nobody taking the man. This is tactically well executed.
Well, any analyst who's done his work on Tanzania would know the pace of Mwamba is key, and Mwamba has punished Nigeria. Delightful little lift over the top. Nobody going with the runner.
And what is interesting is that just before they scored this goal, you had made this is the offside.
That's inches. Nigeria are inches away from 2-0, and Tanzania take the ball up and score on the opposite end.
That's football.
It's football. You were saying?
What I found very interesting here is that you were just saying it before, that they needed to string some passes together, talking about the Tanzanians. And they answered you right. They strung, I think, 4 or 5 passes together, but changing direction from left to right, and it's got the goal.
And maybe the presence of Samata there was key, because when Samata got onto the ball, his path was immediately blocked. There were 3 defenders in front of him. What that did was create a little bit of space and maybe diverted attention from Mwamba's run. Nigeria look through the centre here. Lukman delivers again. Ademola Lukman with a fine goal that takes Nigeria back in front. Mere minutes after an equaliser for Tanzania. Lukman looks up and places it perfectly beyond Zuberi Foba and the Tanzanian goal. 2 goals in effectively 2 minutes in the second half passage of play.
Clinical finishing, really. He took matters into his own hands.
4 players in front of him.
But clinical finishing with his left foot. This is really well struck.
Well, he was the rampant goal scorer in the knockout stages for Nigeria at the last Africa Cup of Nations. His brace against Cameroon in the round of 16, his goal in the win over Angola in the quarterfinals. He was the go-to player. He's got his first goal at Afcon 2025. And it's a glorious strike. With 4 defenders in front of him. Picked his place with precision. Iwobi, Ndidi, Kanzambasi forward now up toward the halfway line where Kapombe returns it to Nigerian territory. Chukwueze bumped off the ball by Miroshi. Happy to get physical, Novartis Miroshi.
This is the beauty of the Afcon, the physicality, and the fact that players refuse to go willingly to the ground. It's really beautiful.
Well, I was going to return to the underdog story and maybe talk about how real it might be for Tanzania having scored that equaliser, but Lukman didn't give me a chance to go there. Nigeria reclaimed the lead.
Well, that's why we love the Afcon.
Kapombe whipped in, decent looking delivery, space for Alarakia, hits it, deflected, and that's pushed wide, but the offside flag will go up. Suva with a final touch.
Once again, that's passive defending by Nigerians there. It's unadmissible at this level to leave the man behind. Inadmissible.
Well, if Nigeria have the quality, Tanzania have the hunger, and they're looking to showcase that.
This is actually turning out to be a very explosive match now, both end-to-end stuff for us.
It certainly has been. Big midfield battle, and Didi with a challenge, and that'll be challenged.
Tanzanians are growing in this game. They are going with self-belief, and the Nigerians have, if they want to win this game, they have to quench that one way or the other.
Nigeria continuing in brilliant ways in the group stages. They've lost only one of their last 14. They're well poised to claim victory here, but Tanzania looking to fight back. Alarakia gets underneath it.
He did everything right except the positioning of his head when he struck the ball. Leaning backwards, all the ball could do was go upwards.
Well, this is very much an underdog story in the sense that Nigeria have won the tournament as many times as Tanzania have played in the tournament. Their world ranking is significant, the chasm between the two. Akor Adams and Simen looking to get into position to finish. Forba comes but doesn't collect, and corner as a result. 10 minutes gone in the second half. 2 goals, a disallowed goal.
Victor Osimhen is ever dangerous with crosses.
There's plenty of excitement. It's been an enthralling 10-minute period. No doubt delighting the CAF president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe. So, from the set piece, corner whipped in. A little too close. Samata doing the defensive duties himself. Captain back. And free kick, Tanzania. A little bit of pressure released.
Well, he had given an advantage earlier on, and I think he just went back to the foul before.
Eric Schell, how much of the history does he breathe? And speaking of history, some history being made tonight, potentially. Lukman with a 52nd minute goal after Mwambwa had found an equaliser for Tanzania just 2 minutes earlier. After Ajay found a goal in the 10 minutes leading up to half-time. Changes to come for Nigeria. Well, we've got a couple of players who'll be looking to make an impact in this game, making their way on shortly. Among them, Dilibashiru. I'd love to see Moses Simon impress his skill upon this game.
He's an outright winger.
So yellow card coming out now. Lukman. Unimpressed.
I think the Tanzanians for Tanzanians to turn this around, they need to continue what they're doing now, which is they are now playing quicker, 1, 2, 3 touches at the most, and having movements, having bodies in front of the ball. But I think for Nigeria, if they want to win this game, they're going to have to take back total control of the ball. And at the moment, the Tanzanians are giving them a good fight for it.
So Chukwueze makes way, and Moses Simon is on. Just before the hour mark. Well, Akor Adams is going to give way. He's a man who he cares so much about the effort he puts in and wants so desperately to score that he looks disappointed as he leaves the pitch. Dilibashiru on in his place. 24-year-old now with Lazio. He's chipped in with a couple of fine goals for Nigeria in his 9 previous appearances, into double figures now of international caps for the German-born attacker.
I am curious to know if Akor is injured or if that is just a tactical change, because he's been the liveliest striker for the Nigerians till now. I hope it's not that he's had an injury.
Certainly from a concern perspective, that will be very much the case. You want to have your best players available throughout the competition, and Uncle Adams, although he's a relatively recent arrival on the international stage for Nigeria, he's somebody whose star is rapidly rising.
That's true, but the Nigerians have not won this one yet, so they need their best players on the pitch.
So Nigeria 2, Tanzania 1. Exciting moments in the second half, about 17. This has been an action which there have been a few momentum swings, but the second half has been punctuated by momentum shifts. An hour comes up on the stadium clock here in Fez. Nigeria lead by 1. They're edging it currently by the odd goal. He won't be. Here's Simon. Moses Simon, dazzling run. Simon pushing, squaring. Osimhen juggling, Lookman, and that's tipped over by Forba. Out for the corner it goes.
That's what Moses Simon is going to bring for you. He's a outright winger. He's got pace. He's got experience. And now you're going to see with this player loads of crosses coming in.
Yeah, he's. I mean, the quality of his assist making is extraordinary. He's only one of 2 players who've assisted a goal in each of the last 3 Afcon editions. The only other player to do that is Sadio Mane of Senegal. Delivery in. Worked away. And maybe looking to hit on transition here. Not moving it quite as they would like. Osimhen has it back. Osimhen pounces, but his attempt to finish is wide. Nigeria maintaining that presence, that high press. They're looking to win the ball back when they lose it.
Which is not a failed idea to have, because like we said earlier, they need to take back possession of the game.
Well, there's going to be a change for Tanzania before play happens, and the man who's making his way on is a very dangerous attacker. Simon Msuva makes way, now based in Iraq at Al-Talaba. He's going to make his way off the pitch as Kelvin John, the Danish-based striker, makes his way on. Ajay back to Nwabali. Now, Kelvin John is one that many felt would be starting this game for Tanzania if they really wanted to try to impose themselves from an offensive perspective on Nigeria. He's got a very positive attitude about offensive football, Kelvin John. He's only 22, he's got that youthful enthusiasm and hunger. And maybe his opportunity here to use it in the closing half hour of this opening Group C tie for the respective teams. Miroshi out wide, Hussein. Wonderful control, delivery looks decent as well on the damp surface. It's fine defending from Msuva. Miroshi brings it under control, back out wide again, Hussein. And takes a little deflection, out for the corner it goes. Tanzania, they're not lying down.
Not at all. It's just like we said at the beginning of the second half, what they needed to do, and they are doing it better than I had expected. They're pushing players' legs up front. They're trying to take possession. They're trying to determine their own fate. And that's quite refreshing to see. They have self-belief.
Now, not convinced that was quite the delivery that Miroshi would have wanted. Fended away at the near post. Saudeli Bashiru with a few questions. High floated ball toward the back post. It's Mabulo got a touch on it, Nigeria. Happy to work the ball away, and Didi with a clearance. Kapombe brings it under control. Out from under the feet of Osimhen, and now a little bit of space potentially. The offside flag is raised. But a good period of sustained pressure by Tanzania on Nigeria, possibly for the first time in the game.
Impressed. I think they did very good work at the halftime in the dressing room. It's very obvious that they have decided to take their fate in their own hands. And like I said earlier, they got belief. Why shouldn't they? They are here, they are the Afcon. And but I still repeat that this game is not over, in my opinion.
Well, certainly far from being over. Nigeria, they looked fairly dominant in qualifying. They were Group D winners ahead of Benin, Rwanda and Libya. For Tanzania, they were second in Group H. They were in the group with Democratic Republic of Congo. They finished ahead of Guinea and Ethiopia to qualify for this tournament. The first time they've qualified for successive Afcon tournaments after playing in 2023. Before that, in 2019, and before that, in 1980, when they started their Afcon journey in Lagos against Nigeria. And it's come full circle to Fez.
When you are playing at the Afcon and you're leading by 2 goals to 1, one thing you need to do, one thing we used to do to gain victory is that you are not content at that. You still try to be aggressive and try to make the opponent know that I will score you more.
Moses Simon, well, he was in such rampant form leading up to the 2018 FIFA World Cup, and then injury struck the cruelest blow that denied him a place at that World Cup. But he keeps coming back. He's a resilient star, is Moses Simon. Keeps this ball in play. Inside, outside. Moses Simon for the assist, potentially. Iwobi! Just over. Well, that was one of those movements that everybody in the stadium lived. Off their seats in anticipation of a finish, but agonizingly high.
It will have been almost like a carbon copy of the goal scored by Lukman. Left foot.
Victor Osimhen. That almost pleading look at Iwobi. Lay it into my path. And Iwobi's assist for the opener, stunning. Here is a ball laid into Osimhen's path. It was an awkward angle to try to finish with his right. Ends up tapping it rather tamely towards Forbe in the Tanzanian goal. Got the shot away. It'll count as an effort on target, but not quite the finish that he would have been seeking.
Well, let's talk about Moses Simon. I think what he has brought to the Nigerian side is that now Nigeria's side has more width on the left side, and there are so many crosses coming in now. So I think might be good. Might serve the Nigerians right.
Well, there are chants of Osimhen all around this venue. He's a crowd puller, he's a favourite, and he absolutely delivers on the grand stage more often than not. He's just come off his first season in the Super League, where he averaged effectively a goal a game to win a league and cup double with Galatasaray. I mean, lest we forget his heroics at Napoli. I'm not going to draw any comparisons with other players, but he did what maybe only Maradona had done previously, and that's to take Napoli to a league title against the odds. Delivery toward the back post, fended away by Nwabali.
Dangerous in swerving ball there.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. Was headed a little wide, but taking no chances. Calvin Bassey has been stoic defensively. Moses Simon looking to call a play. Lukman is standing just off to try to keep this from being taken short. Sent in invitingly, but again nodded away. Kelvin John pulls it back. Miroshi switches the angle, gets away from Osimhen. A little bit of space straight down the centre where Hussein has it control. Abdullah. 1-2 again. Mabula looking to get involved. Better passing ability and range now for Tanzania, who are finding some freedom and some space on the park. Better passages building.
Well, it seems to me tactically what they've decided to do, and that's how they got the goal in the first place, was always try to take the Super Eagles of Nigeria to one side of the pitch and then change the game to the other side of the pitch. And that's exactly what they just did now. And it's working. It's piling pressure on the Nigerian defense.
Mwamba, whoever hits this one. Miguel Gamondi, where does he go from here? This feels a little more like a chess match than a sprint, which is sometimes how teams want to get their tournaments underway. 20 minutes to play. Nigeria 2, Tanzania 1 in Fez. But certainly Nigeria have been a little more on the back foot in this second half. Looking to get on the front foot again. Simon. Worked away. Magneto. Eric Schell is a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. Plenty of emotion, often visible from Eric Schell. Zaidu Sanusi. Calvin Bassey. Ajay opened the scoring in the opening half. Didi just in behind Bright Osei Samuel. Here's Lukman. Well, Osimhen broke right and then stopped as Lukman passed left. Simon was making a good break as well down the left flank for Nigeria. A little discontent from a few on the park after that ball rolled harmlessly over the goal line.
Kind of got a feeling Osimhen stopped because he was afraid of going into the offside again. So.
Down the near side, Tanzania. Miroshi, he's been key in midfield for Tanzania. They have risen in belief, looking to shape their tournament and create a new Afcon history. Didi with the ball back. Here's Iwobi between them. Almost 165 caps. Plenty of experience between those two. Sanusi getting involved. Again, it's Simon in combination with Iwobi. Gets past his marker. Kapombe left behind. Delivery in. Fended away by Abdullah. Got the slightest of touches on it. Recovered by Lukman. Nigeria seeking a way through on the overlap now. Cut back. A little bit of space. And to safety from Tanzania.
Well, when you're playing against a pack defense, you go through the wings. And that's why it could be interesting, the introduction of, it is interesting, the introduction of Moses Simon.
Out wide, in behind the defender. Cut back was certainly on, but not accomplished. Abdullah with a good, clean bit of defensive work to deny the pass completion. Miroshi. Well, Miroshi's just been all over the park in the second half. He's been extraordinary in midfield for Tanzania. After a period of sustained pressure inside the Nigerian final third, they find themselves now pegged back in their own half.
Well, I must say it's not only Rashima. I think it's the whole Tanzanian team that kind of like raised the game up now.
They have. They have. Have you noted any patterns from either side in the game?
What I've noticed the most is that tactically, Tanzania, they've diversified their game more. They had just one. We're speaking about the plan A, plan B now. I am seeing a plan A and B and maybe even a C now sometimes with them. So it's quite interesting what they're doing. They're attracting the Nigerians to one side and shifting the game to the other side. And it's working very well for them.
Lovely pass from Iwobi. Abdullah again, the thorn in the side of Osimhen. The free kick awarded to Tanzania. Calvin John not playing quite so direct as he sometimes does. He's an adaptable player who can play anywhere across the front line. A steady rain that continues to fall over the Complexe Sportif de Fez. It's not a heavy rain, but it is persistent. Players need to prove their adaptability, their versatility. Iwobi, exceptional again tonight. Lukman squeezes through past the defender, and the slightest deflection, though, allows Zuberi Forba time to come and collect. Good awareness from the young goalkeeper. 15 minutes of action remains in this Group C tie. Zaidu Sanusi. I think not since Taiwo has somebody really stuck their hand up and said, I am the left back. And he's really grown in stature in his international appearances.
And Nigeria, they've had a lot of them.
Lukman.
Oh, that's poor after the great first touch by Moses Simon.
Alarakia, down he goes. Indeed, he questions why the free kick was given. And the free kick awarded regardless as Alarakia goes down. There's going to be a few changes for Tanzania to come, it seems. For now, they're playing with some decent belief on the pitch. Simon, Iwobi. Back with Iwobi on the halfway line.
Well, tactically, Nigerians are doing now what they need to do all through. That is, they should decide the tempo, start slowly, and accelerate when you move up forwards.
Sanusi, cut back, look decent, look promising. No finish. Mwambwa. Driven back as Iwobi comes back and just shields that defence once again. Kapombe. He's got options. Samata on his 33rd birthday, looking to get Tanzania back in this. Puts himself into a very handy position going forward, but Miroshi opts to pass the ball diagonally. Out wide, Alarakia. Back to Miroshi. Calvin John and Samata both wait, but Iwobi has it back. Ball in over the top. A little bit of a scramble from Abdullah. Works it back to his keeper.
Pretty interesting. This is what they changed. In the first half, when the Tanzanians had the ball, they had very few options up front. Now, each time a player from when a Tanzanian has the ball, he has automatically almost 4 options to pass the ball to, be it short, be it wide.
So, changes to come. Taran Alarakia is done. His race is run, and on in his place now, Dixon Job turns 25 next week. Kapombe has also made way, and that man Hajim Nonga on in his stead, the 21-year-old from Salford City in England. He's born and raised in England and lives Portsmouth. Came through the Portsmouth ranks, spent 16 years at the club, but now with Salford City in England. Sanusi. It's all gotten a little quieter now.
Which is good for Nigeria, but bad for Tanzania.
Bear in mind, Nigeria were finalists at the last Africa Cup of Nations. Handball called against Lukman as Miroshi just cut that ball back. And Nigeria were also finalists the last time the Africa Cup of Nations was played in Morocco, back in 1988. Nonga getting knocked over. That'll be a free kick to Tanzania.
Those are the kind of fouls Nigeria will need to avoid, because set pieces, they could be the door opener for a team like this.
Inside the final 10 minutes, Miroshi says, I'll take it myself. Whips the ball in, asking invitingly. And a man who's not used to scoring in Hussein Mohammed looks to try to find a finish. Scored his first international goal earlier this year, actually, in the African Nations Championship in Tanzania on home soil. Scored in a victory over Burkina Faso. Delivery in, Osimhen brings it down, doesn't bring it under control. Keeper's come out dangerously. Bashiru looked to finish but couldn't. Blocked by Foba, who's down on one knee and will maybe take a little medical treatment. Another opportunity. Chances coming for both these sides.
Oh, I think Osimhen could have done better with the first touch there. I think that's what put him into kind of sorts, because physically he seemed to have dominated the defender, yeah.
Tanzania looking to stand tall again. Their Afcon story has traced a very wide arc across the continent. Nigeria await the arrival of Paul Onwachu. His introduction seems imminent. Far side. No, not quite gone according to plan. Bashiru down the far flank.
It's understandable what he tried to do. I think the idea was good, but the execution was what failed him. He did not cover the ball when he struck the ball.
So, still a tight game. Nonga looking to chase. Square ball was on. Calvin Bassey, again calm and composed, manages to bring that ball under control despite tracking back towards his own goal. Nonga wins it back from Simon. That's not something you see all too often. And Simon, in trying to win it back, concedes the foul. Tanzania take quickly. Forward, Mabula. Back into space, Miroshi just in front of that back four. Mabula again, lovely ball through. Chance to strike at first time, not taken, and then pulled off target at the second time of asking by Kelvin John.
Personally, this is probably the best Tanzanian side I've seen play. This is all well constructed, what they're doing, and you can see the idea in everything they're trying to do.
There's been a lot of successes for Tanzanian football in recent times. Certainly the impressive exploits of some of their top teams like Simba and Azam and young Africans on the continent. There's also been Great excitement about the prospect of co-hosting the next Africa Cup of Nations, and indeed already co-hosting the recent African Nations Championship. This team qualifying for the Africa Cup of Nations for successive editions for the first time. There's much positivity surrounding Tanzania and Tanzanian football. Taifa Stars heading in the right direction.
From what you're saying, you can see that you can now collaborate what we're saying about the way they're playing with the improvement of the club sides.
Oh, Simon hit that ferociously, straight though into the body of Monyeto. Calvin Bassey stand out defensively. And that'll be free kick to Nigeria. With that, we're going to see the change. And making his way on, Iberi Paul Onwachu. Now based in Turkey, in Trabzonspor. And he brings a great deal of attacking intent, doesn't he?
I think it's probably a good idea for Nigeria to bring him in, because he's tall, he can hold up the ball up front. And at the moment, Nigerians are very wary of Osimhen getting injured. So taking him off now, especially towards the tail end of the game, is probably the idea, trying to avoid him from having injuries maybe.
Wrap him in cotton wool, they say.
That's a nice way to say it.
Keep him safe and sound. Victor Osimhen marches back to the bench. Whipped in. That's a little too strong from Simon on the far side. Into the final 5 minutes of this Group C encounter, and the tempo that we saw at the start of the half has not been sustained. I mean, that intensity, though, would be difficult to match for 45 minutes, never mind 90. But there's no signs of fatigue from either one of these sides, which is a good indication for their respective campaigns. But speaking of their campaigns, Nigeria will be looking in 4 days' time to take on Tunisia, a very, very challenging team that knows how to play tournament football. Samata looking to release out on the far side. Square ball. Bassi again there to try to square that ball away from goal. Maybe collides with his goalkeeper. Calvin John was lurking behind them.
Lack of communication. Lack of communication. But this beautiful movement by the Tanzanians.
Well, that's the danger that Mohamed Hussein possesses when he goes on that overlap down the left flank, because he's such a dangerous crosser of the ball. From the corner, Miroshi in toward the near post, bouncing around dangerously. The opportunity, however, not taken by Tanzania. Abdullah with a chance to finish, and instead has only seen an agonizing moment, not only in the miss, but indeed the cramp that seemingly struck him moments after.
This asymmetric way of attacking that the Tanzanians are doing is really, really impressive. They are dominating when they go up front, with the fact that they attract Nigeria to one side and they switch it back to the other side, which is quite impressive at this level to see a team consistently do that.
So 2 minutes plus added time. Nwabali to get the ball back into play from a goal kick. Launches it a long way upfield. Nonga's underneath it. Sanusi now down the near side. Can't find a way through. It's Miroshi looking to get things going. Lukman, he was on target in the qualifiers. He was on target in this half. Nigeria looking for a third in the game. Delivery to come away by Abdullah again.
Too much touches of the ball.
Didi finding Bassi, forward to Iwobi, now Zaidu Sanusi again. Seeking a way through, not going to happen here. Into the 90th minute we go. Nigeria on the verge of an opening day victory this campaign. Delivery in, scooped away. Samata with a little touch. Counter-attack is on. Wilfred Ndidi, though, cuts it out. Lukman. Sanusi. Moses Simon. Oh, blistering again.
He's been very good for Nigeria ever since he's come on.
It's his takeoff speed. I mean, he goes from 0 to 100 in one step.
And he's not the tallest guy on the pitch. That's the beautiful part of it all.
Far side. And so back to Shemi Ajay, whose goal seems an age away now. As we hit the 90-minute mark, 3 minutes of additional time here in Fez. Nigeria lead by 1. Zaidu Sanusi, among those who's stuck his hand up to be counted in today's opening fixture in Group C. It's going to be a change here for Tanzania. They're looking to make an attacking change as Dennis Kibu will make his way on. Off goes the goal scorer for Tanzania, Mombwa.
Lots of positives from this game from Tanzania. I think they could really build on what they've put up here today, playing against one of the favorites on paper and able to put up this performance they've done here today.
Nigeria. Slowing it down, a little patience at times. I suppose there is a difference between slowing things down deliberately and being patient about your game.
Now, what they're doing now is perfect. There is no need to rush now. You don't need to win every game by 2 goals. Ahead. This is the time they have to slow it down. It's up to the Tanzanians now to come up there. There is no rush to go forward now. The ball just have to just circulate the ball around.
Nwaju just pulls it back, and Didi on the halfway line. Nigeria on that day that I've mentioned a few times, back in 1980 in Lagos, Nigeria victorious by 3 goals to 1 over Tanzania.
And Nigeria ended up winning that tournament.
They did.
This time around, it's 2-1. There's still, who knows, maybe a 3rd goal is coming.
But the importance of that tournament for Tanzania was significant as well. Even though they failed to win a match, there were generations of footballers that heard stories about the team in 1980 that had qualified for the Africa Cup of Nations. It seemed like an unreachable achievement. And now they've qualified for 3 of the last 4 tournaments.
Not forgetting that back in the days, you did not have so many participants from Africa. You had fewer nations that could qualify.
Yes. I think their progress has been measured in more than just results. It's been measured in competitiveness, in staying alive in games longer, in no longer being overawed by more illustrious opponents.
But from a tactical point of view, this is the best I have seen them play. The way they were able to manage this game and, you know, in sequences from the first half, it's been impressive.
Whistle in the mouth, and that will be it, says Dahan Beda of Mauritania. The referee signals the end of this opening fixture in Group C of the Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2025. And Nigeria have beaten Tanzania by 2 goals to 1. It's not a statement win, but it is 3 points guaranteed and a perfect platform to launch into their campaign before they meet Tunisia on match day 2 in 4 days' time. Tanzania have Uganda in Rabat in 4 days' time before they finish their group against Tunisia 3 days after that. Victor Osimhen might not have been on the scoreboard today, but he punctuated play with his movement. Lukman was superb. And a few players stuck their hands up tremendously despite the wet conditions. Final score, Nigeria 2, Tanzania 1 in Fez.
Been very impressed with Ako, with the way Ako played the game from the beginning. I think the mobility he gave Nigeria in front really made it easier for them to impose the game today. And Calvin defensively was huge for Nigeria. So Nigeria, this game, it's a very important game for Nigeria. They must make sure they did not lose this game. But starting with a win after the elimination from the World Cup, there's nothing better for them to go on. On the other hand, for the Tanzanians, I feel they could build on this game today.
Yeah, maybe a little reminder that they are here and that they could still surprise somebody in the group. But momentum gained for Nigeria with the win, and that's significant.
It's extremely important when you start your game by your challenge for the title with a win. On the other hand, the Tanzanians, they did not lose by many. So that means they're still in contention to qualify as second or even maybe as best third. So everything is possible.
Certainly everything is possible. Let's find out who the person that stood out the most for the technical study group is concerned as Nigeria gather in the huddle following their professional and accomplished start to this tournament. Job started, not nearly finished. The players will break now, and one player has been separated from the huddle to go and achieve his accolade and receive his award. The Total Energies Man of the Match to come. There's a few that stuck their hand up tonight for that honour. But only one can receive the trophy. He rose highest